pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would there be any changes to our agenda?
No.
Support.
Moved and supported. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, the approval of minutes from March 6.
Move the minutes.
Moved and supported. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We're down to limited public comment. Is there anybody from the public? I do not see anyone. Next, number 6 on our agenda, the Sheriff's Office Department Report.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. The highlights for March of this year, it's pretty lengthy, but I'll go through it as quickly as I can. On March 2nd, deputies responded to investigate a reported stolen vehicle at the Lansing Mall Theater parking lot. It was a Kia. Through the review of the parking lot video, we believe it was stolen between 4:30 and 7 o'clock p.m. by the same suspect of several other stolen vehicles in the area. Kia is a real important vehicle to be stolen, I guess. Deputies responded to the ZAP zone on this date on a fight involving 4 to 6 females. One of them was arrested for several charges, including resisting arrest. On March 3rd, deputies responded to an armed robbery at Delta Square. The victim was given a ride by some persons he did not know to the Delta Square apartments, where they pulled out a gun and robbed him. Same day, patient requiring treatment at 1700 block of Stony Point. A male was making threats to his mother and wife that he was going to shoot himself. He has several guns registered to him. We were able to take him into protective custody without issues, and he was transported to the hospital for treatment. March 5th, deputies respond to reports of people attempting to steal cars at the Planet Fitness and the Ramblewood Apartments. As we were out looking for the suspects in this, a deputy located a stolen vehicle near Saginaw and Richard Street. The driver of the stolen vehicle fled when he tried to stop it. At one point during the pursuit, the suspect intentionally crashed the stolen vehicle into one of our patrol vehicles, causing injury to the deputy, who was treated at the local hospital. The vehicle continued to flee and eventually crashed into a vehicle at Lansing Township. The suspect fled the crash scene on foot and was not located. We collected the evidence, and this investigation is ongoing. March 10th, we had a breaking and entering. We were dispatched to a late report of a break-in at Mancino's at 603 North Waverly. The owner called after noticing someone had thrown a rock through the front door to gain entry. The suspect pried open the cash register. Security video showed that the suspect was a heavier-set black male wearing a dark hoodie, camo pants, and a mask. This investigation is also ongoing. March 12th, at 5:48 p.m., a caller of Elmwood Park Apartments stated that a black male wearing a mask broke into a back window of a Kia and was trying to steal the car. He could not get it started. The suspect then left the vehicle and was walking through the parking lot. When deputies arrived, the suspect fled on foot southbound through the woods. The suspect was apprehended with a mask, gloves, USB connector, and tools consistent with those used to steal a vehicle. The suspect was arrested and lodged at the Eaton County Youth Facility and charged with 2 counts of attempted unauthorized driving away of an automobile and numerous other charges. Same date, we assisted Lansing Police Department in the 3800 block of Wilson Street for an attempted home invasion. 3 subjects were seen attempting to break into and reported that they were armed. LPD requested priority backup. While they were arresting 2 of the suspects, the 3rd one fled on foot. We assisted with a drone and our patrol units until the Lansing Police Department could get enough officers in the area to take over the search. March 15th at the Lansing Mall. Originally dispatched to an active shooter with the victims at the Lansing Mall. Eaton County Sheriff's deputies arrived within 30 seconds and observed mayhem at the mall. As many as 600 to 800 people were fleeing from the mall in a panic through broken windows and doors. There were two separate events going on at the mall that night. We learned that one of the events, a suspect stole a jacket of another person. The victim chased the suspect, trying to get his jacket back. When he saw that he thought he saw a gun, he stopped chasing, he went back to the event he was at and told his friends about the gun. At this time, there was some confusion and somewhat of the event. Someone at the event yelled, "There was a gun." When this happened, everyone fled. The metal chairs were sitting in a crashed and in the ground, and through the sound of the gunshots, then mass panic ensued. It took a few minutes to figure out this. The deputies were able to watch the available video and interview several people and determined there was no shots fired, no victims of a shooting. March 22nd. At 2:22 a.m., 911 Central Dispatch received a call from a BMW on an automatic crash notification system that was plotting in the middle of Grand River at the dead end of Jolly Road. Deputies arrived and found the guardrail was damaged and observed a vehicle taillights about 200 feet from the shoreline in the middle of the river. They were able to locate an occupant swimming from the vehicle to shore and were able to get him to safety. The person stated that he was a passenger and that the driver was still in the vehicle. We were not able to locate the driver, and the Tri-County Regional Dive Team was requested. Lansing Police Department officers, along with their deputies, and the Delta Fire Department personnel began walking and searching the riverbanks. We flew the drone, searching the shoreline, and the Delta and Lansing Fire Departments launched boats to search the river. But the driver was not located. The dive team was unable to locate anyone in the vehicle. They continued searching the river until they located the deceased driver's body at approximately 8:30 a.m., and they recovered it. March 23rd, we assisted the Michigan State Police late in the day on a body which was found in the woods off Cochrane, north of M43. We were able to determine this was not anyone reported missing from Eaton County, and MSP is conducting a homicide investigation. March 26th, deputies responded to a report of an armed robbery which occurred in the 13,000 block of Audrey Lane. We made contact with the victim, who said this car was taken at gunpoint, and provided a description of the suspect. We were able to track the victim's phone, which was in the car, and it was plotting in Grand Ledge. Deputies were assisted by the Grand Ledge Police Department and the Michigan State Police in searching the area. A deputy observed the suspect on Main Street, but he fled. We set up a perimeter to contain the suspect. We deployed the drone and used K-9 unit to track the suspect. MSP sent their helicopter to assist to locate the suspect. Drivers found the stolen car in a driveway, and while searching the area, spotted the suspect running. Through teamwork, the suspect was contained in the area and spotted at the edge of the river, where he was arrested without incident. Temperature of the river water was 27 degrees. He had entered the river and was hypothermic with body temperature of 90 degrees, which he was taken to the hospital for treatment before being lodged at our jail. He was interviewed and confessed. The gun he used was a CO2 BB pistol replica of a Glock pistol. This is a prime example of excellent teamwork from all agencies involved. March 27th, the deputy was at Waverly and Jolly making traffic stops when he approached by the Michigan Department of Corrections parole absconder unit. They advised they were watching a wanted subject in the area and requested the deputy's assistance making the traffic stop. The deputy assisted the team in conducting a felony stop and arrested the suspect, who had parole absconder warrant for original conviction of armed robbery. March 28th. We assisted the Charlotte Police Department. We were dispatched to Butternut Apartments for a dangerous domestic disturbance. The caller said the suspect was at her back door banging on it, saying he had a gun. He told her over the phone he was going to use it on himself as well as the kids and the other family in the townhouse. Deputy safely approached while the suspect was still banging on the door. Suspect was not cooperative and was tased, and then he was arrested on several charges. That concludes our month of March. Any questions for me? None?
No questions.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. The next item is specialty court grant resolutions. Would entertain a motion to approve them as a slate from A
Move it.
through J.
I'll move it.
Moved. Any support? Support. Moved and supported. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
The courts did want to come in.
Oh, before we vote?
Yeah.
Thank you.
We were going to make a presentation, Melanie was going to make a presentation on what the grants are, but it appears that we have support for them. And so my name is Judge Cunningham. I'm the circuit court judge and the chief judge of the trial court. Mr. Chairman, commissioners, I am asking that you pass them, but take out the language that we were told this morning had to be in the resolution. And the reason for that is we need to know whether or not we're going to have a community corrections department. If you keep in the language that says that we will not know, that the Board of Commissioners will not give us final approval until the grant money has been awarded, we will not know until September or October if you're going to let us keep the money to fund the Community Corrections Department, which means that we have employees that could have less than 24 hours notice that they're out of a job. We will have over 100 participants in all of our programs that we will have to figure out what to do with them. And that is not tenable. And so we need to be able to apply for the grants and know that if we get the money, we can continue community corrections. And I'm asking you to approve the grants altogether, but I'm asking to take that language out so that we know how to proceed in the future. And I'm open to answer any questions that you may have why this causes such a problem for the courts, community corrections, the prosecutor's office, and the public defender's office.
Any questions?
The language that Chief Judge is talking about. So the language we've been adding to all of the grants is that the continuation of the grant is dependent on you accepting the award at the time they're approved. So as Judge is saying, in the event we didn't have the resources to fund anything that's coming out of the general fund in relationship to these grants, that they would just end. So that's what she's asking to have removed so that they know right now if they're awarded this money that the programs continue.
Okay. I guess, question to you then, what are the general fund risks with accepting these grants?
Well, the general fund, there's 65% of the specialty courts coordinator salary is through the general fund. On one of the courts, there's another 30% that may come out of the general fund. Now, obviously, we can't say for sure because they always apply for the max that they're going to apply for. So they're going to try to fund everything they can. So that could change. We just don't know. So you're really talking about anything that's not covered under the grant, and generally it just would be Melanie's salary. And then there's a pretrial services specialist.
That's covered.
That's covered. Well, 30% is what we put in the budget, but you've been able to fund it because there's been a vacancy.
Our calculation has been, it's approximately $130,000 net to the county. That's roughly the number, which I think is what you're asking. Right. Okay.
So that's all you're looking at.
I'm sorry, could you say that number one more time?
130,000.
Thank you.
So we're looking to strike the first be it further resolved then,
Right.
right? Okay. I would amend my motion with that being struck.
There's a second.
Support.
I had one question. does that figure change any with matching funds or no matching
No,
funds?
no.
So that's it. That's good.
So, yeah, I guess we should probably just make this clear at the full board as well.
Yeah, this will go to the full board and may have more time to consider a little bit. But ready to vote?
Was there further
No,
presentations or anything?
thank you very
that-
much for your time.
I'm sorry to rush you guys.
No, thank you.
I like the programs.
Thank you, Judge. So all in favor of the amended, oh, one more
You've
question.
got two motions on the floor right now.
I amended my initial.
You amended that one. Okay, so is that particular resolution going to be voted on separately, or you still want to do this as a slate?
He was amending, I believe, all of them.
All of
to
them?
take
Okay.
that language
Yeah.
out.
Yes,
All right, okay,
that's
thank you.
correct. too.
I thought we were just talking about that.
Yeah, I think it came as a slate in the
Yes.
beginning. So,
Okay, thank you.
all understood? What, Commissioner Mott?
If there aren't any questions for me, no, I just wasn't going to move back to my seat until after. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All in favor then?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Moving along, we have Central Dispatch Department report.
Good afternoon, Kelly Cunningham, Eaton County 911 Director. We did have a few people attend the 2025 Michigan Statewide Interoperable Communications Training Conference. This was made possible by the Eaton County Emergency Management and Homeland Security Grant Program. And we currently have our tactical dispatch team, so most of them are there right now at Incident Tactical Dispatcher, which is a training, a week-long training, and it's through FEMA. So it is following the national guidelines, and so far it is going really well. Technology and radios, we have the law enforcement mobile computer terminal MCTs. So these are the computers in the law enforcement vehicles. Again, we are not replacing the ones in the sheriff's department vehicles right now, but they are almost through the smaller agencies. So that's going to be Grand Ledge, Potterville, Olivet, Bellevue, Charlotte, Eaton Rapids. I think I got them all. But so it will be the smaller agencies that are being replaced right now. And again, that is all funded through the 911 millage, and that is part of the millage. We provided communication unit support to the 2025 Grand Ledge St. Patrick's Day Parade. And also I created a ICS 205, which is a communications plan for the newer commissioners. That is something I do quite often for events and incidents. And basically, it is a plan for communication, and it always has room to grow. So if something bad were to happen at that event, we are able to get mutual aid there and all be on the same page of what talk group we are communicating on. And congratulations to telecommunicator Samantha Nierink. She has successfully passed the supervisor exam. She got 100%. And then we had an interview with her, and she will be promoted to supervisor on June 9th. And that is for Supervisor Rich Thacker, who is planning on, or he is retiring on May 31st. Also, Eaton County Central Dispatch and Eaton County Emergency Management, I'm sure Ella will talk about this some more, but participated in the annual voluntary statewide tornado drill on Wednesday, March 19th at 1 p.m. This included activating outdoor warning sirens for all communities, sending a rave alert to opt-in recipients, and we issued a live wireless emergency alert, also known as a WIA, test across Eaton, Ingham, and Clinton counties and the city of Lansing. I was not there for it. I was on a cruise ship, and rumor has it it went well. But one thing I do kind of want to remind people of with the test and the severe weather we had last week, is that outdoor warning sirens are for outdoors. So they're not made to be able to notify you in a house. That's why we want you to have multiple modes. So there's Rave Alert that you can sign up and you would get the weather warning there. You also have your cell phone. If there was a tornado, a WIA would be sent. News, radio, multiple modes is important. So outdoor warning sirens weren't put in place for you to be able to hear clearly inside a building, especially in a basement. So sometimes that's confusing. People get pretty upset that they never heard the outdoor warning sirens, but they're for people that are outdoors. Also, I was invited to the Charlotte Upper Elementary School for Reading Month, and I got to read my favorite book from my childhood, which is The Giving Tree. And then they asked me lots of great questions about 911 and some questions about, the bad guys, because all elementary students want to know that. And then another cool thing, reminder, on December 17th of last year, telecommunicator Wanacott assisted the successful delivery of a baby girl. And it made it into the news because Mom was also very excited that I actually was able to help her deliver the baby. It even was on, I had CNN call me, and my joke was Brian Latzenheiser said that CNN and Fox News aren't calling you, and then the next day CNN calls me, so. But the family visited our center, and she got to meet Amelia in person, so and she was adorable. So that is all I have for my monthly report. Any questions? All right, thank you.
Don't see any. Thank you, Kelly. Next, we have our Emergency Management Report Department.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm Ella Gardner, the Eaton County Emergency Management Specialist. Myself and Ryan Wilkinson, the Emergency Manager, had quite a busy month. So to start out, in early March, Ryan and I met with a state hazard mitigation planning analyst to review our multi-hazard mitigation plan. Our plan has successfully passed the state review and is now undergoing review by the Federal Emergency Management Agency. We also had several strong candidates apply for our 2025 summer internship program. After conducting interviews, we're proud to announce that we have selected Megan Randall to be our intern for the 2025 internship. She is set to begin working with us on May 1st and will be at the public safety meeting in May to introduce herself. On March 18th, we hosted and participated in MGT 460, which is Planning for Disaster Debris Management. We had a full class including participants from the Barry Eaton District Health Department, Grand Ledge Police Department, Diamondale Public Works, and Windsor Township Emergency Services, among others. Ryan was able to participate in the nation's first mass fatality cold weather response exercise in Marquette, Michigan. This exercise provided hands-on experience to enhance readiness for a mass fatality incident occurring in cold weather conditions. As Kelly had touched on, Severe Weather Awareness Week took place from March 16th to 22nd. We participated in several ways, including social media campaign, the wireless emergency alert test, which was the first of its kind in the nation, and also with the outdoor warning siren activation through the voluntary tornado drill. And we also tested our Emergency Operations Center activation through Rave Collaborate. I also wanted to provide a quick update on the severe weather that we experienced this week. I know that it wasn't on the initial report that we had submitted, but on Sunday, March 30th, parts of Eaton County were under a slight or enhanced risk for severe weather. In response, we activated our Emergency Operations Center at 10 a.m. To the monitoring and assessment level. As the storm progressed, the National Weather Service issued a severe thunderstorm watch, followed by a severe thunderstorm warning, and later a tornado warning for the southeast corner of the county. By 7:30 p.m., the severe weather threat had subsided in our area. We reached out to local jurisdictions and found that the primary impacts were downed wires and power outages, with a peak of 3,665 customers, about 7% of the county without power. After the storm, we addressed concerns about siren activation by sharing graphics on social media comparing the tornado warning polygon, which is issued by the National Weather Service, compared to the siren zones that we have in Eaton County. We overlaid the two of them to show the community members why certain sirens did not activate. Moving forward, Ryan and I are planning to share the warning polygons in real time to our social media, at least to the best that we can during severe weather events, to improve situational awareness for the entire community. Additionally, on April 2nd, Eaton County was once again under a slight risk for severe weather, triggering another EOC activation at 2:10 p.m. While conditions throughout the week suggested a strong potential for severe weather, the warm front did not move into the state as initially anticipated, which lessened the chance for severe weather. The EOC continued monitoring until 10 p.m. when the National Weather Service had confirmed that the risk had cleared our area. Lastly, Emergency Manager Ryan Wilkinson is in Montmorency County, located in the northern Lower Peninsula, assisting the ongoing response and recovery efforts following the northern Michigan ice storm that occurred last weekend. He's part of an incident management team that was deployed through an intrastate request through the Michigan Emergency Management Assistance Compact, also known as MEMAC. All of his expenses are reimbursable. Outside of that, that concludes my report. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
When you guys get questions, because this came up with the dispatch too, with the sirens, do you get that often every time there's a storm with sirens? Like, is that a common question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We've tried to share on social media a few different times, just the overlaying of where the tornado warning polygon is to where the sirens are located, and trying to spread the message to the best of our ability that if it's not touching a siren zone, those sirens are not going to go off.
All right. I just was wondering if this is like this time, or is every time the sirens are there?
There's normally at least one question.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Anything else?
I don't see any others. Thank you, Ella.
I would note one thing, that with Ryan being gone, the county is reimbursed for his time, his wages. Did she say that? I'm so sorry, Ella.
Thanks again, Ella. Next, we have the prosecutor office reports.
Good afternoon, Chairman, Commissioners. Doug Lloyd, Eaton County Prosecutor. Just in the realm of transparency, I'd like to just present to you some of the numbers that we dealt with as a prosecutor's office last month. Last month, we were noticed by the court to attend 701 hearings. And during the month of March, we also received from the 12 police agencies that we deal with here in Eaton County 174 new case referrals. We issued charges on 86 individuals last month. We diverted another 64 cases away from the criminal justice system. Diversion means that we offered the individuals an opportunity to participate in our diversion programs through the Economic Crime Unit. They actually accepted and completed that, and so 64 individuals were diverted away from the criminal justice system. We denied 91 cases last month, and as I've told you before, that means that we take in those cases from the police agencies, we review them, and we make the determination that their facts are either lacking and we send it back, or the facts weren't there to begin with, and we deny those cases outright, which, as I've told you before, really makes us the actual and original public defender, because we're making sure that individuals who should not be charged aren't charged. We sent discovery 305 times. Once again, we are electronic, so that means that we are now able to send that discovery out electronically to defense attorneys, whether it be retained or the defender's office. But we did that 305 times, meaning my legal assistants are taking that information and sending it out to the defense attorneys. We issued subpoenas 48 times, which means that we had 48 times where hearings were scheduled in one of the 5 courtrooms here in Eaton County for a hearing that required witnesses. And so we issued subpoenas 48 times. We prepared 26 writs. That means that there were 26 individuals that were sitting in either a jail or a prison someplace else outside of Eaton County, and they had a court hearing. And so we prepared the writ to give to the sheriff, and the sheriff went and picked that individual up to bring them back, or the Michigan Department of Corrections brought the individual to our county for the court hearing they had. And finally, but not least, I should say, we had 228 victim interactions. That means that my attorneys and my victim advocates met with 228 or spoke to 228 victims during the month of March, which I think is important because April is a big month. There are 3 national recognitions taking place during April. April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Sexual assault falls in our county. It's generally known as criminal sexual assault. Can also be known as domestic violence. Those are things that my office deals with on a daily basis. And so it is nice that it is recognized nationally, and we make a point in our office to recognize it as well. Also this month is National Child Abuse Prevention Month. This is something that, we see both, in the criminal justice system as well as the probate systems where children are abused. And we, as the prosecutor's office, have to deal with those cases. Those children, their victim can be victims too. And so that's something that my office deals with and pays attention to. And once again, we want to recognize. And finally, starting Sunday, the 6th through the 12th, is Crime Victim Rights Week, the national week each year to recognize crime victim rights. And last night, myself and my attorneys and my victim advocates had the opportunity to go to the 36th Annual Crime Victim Rights Vigil. And so for 36 years, the Crime Victim Rights Vigil has been held up in Lansing. Used to be at the state capitol. Last night it was at the historic library located off of Kalamazoo. And it's an inspirational presentation that is done every year. It's an opportunity for victims and their families to come together and work through the processes that they must work through and hopefully be able to heal a little more. What we tend to forget, and I think everyone, people who aren't involved in the system don't really ever think about it. Those of us who are involved in the system, whether it be the courts or the prosecutors or the defenders, we deal with it every day. And so sometimes it just becomes ingrained and it's not actually thought of. This is a unique night each year where we get to actually think about it because victims are the only ones who never asked to be a part of the system. And I can tell you as a prosecutor who has dealt with legislative issues, who deals with the law every day, our jobs are always talked about in the sense of the defendant. And legislation is always discussed in regards to what can we do for the defendant. Well, the thing is that victims have constitutional rights too. But they don't get a chance to be heard. There are only certain times in a criminal case that a victim is going to be heard. If they get up and testify, or if the person pleads guilty or is found guilty and they get to speak at a sentencing. Otherwise, they don't get to say a word. They're the ones who didn't ask to be a part of the system, They didn't volunteer for it. They didn't go to school for it. They allegedly didn't commit a crime to be a part of it. They got thrown into it without anybody ever asking if that was okay for them. And so this night allows them to talk about the loss that they may have had personally, if it's a sexual assault or a domestic violence situation, or the loss of a loved one, when we're talking about someone who was murdered or was killed by a drunk driver or whatever, other harmful way could have happened to their loved one. And it's a great thing. I would suggest to all of you that, if you ever have the opportunity, take it. It is inspiring. It is eye-opening, and it's helpful for us to remember, to think outside that box that we get ingrained in, and actually remember that what matters most is that we must listen and we must hear. And so the 6th through the 12th will be Crime Victim Rights Week, and we will be making our best effort to make sure that we listen to the victims. Otherwise, my report is completed unless you have any questions for me.
Any questions for the prosecutor? Don't see any. Thank you.
All right, thank you,
Thank you.
Chairman.
Next item is miscellaneous. Are there miscellaneous?
No, sir.
No miscellaneous. We have limited public comment portion. Is there one? Oh,
Good afternoon.
hello?
Chris Coleman, Captain with the Eaton County Sheriff's Office, and I'm not here to speak to you as an employee today. Speaking to you as a resident, as a citizen, actually taking vacation time to do it because it's that important to me. I want to talk a little bit about this upcoming millage, the things that the county is facing, the things that public safety is facing in general, Sheriff's Office, Prosecutor's Office, Animal Control, Information Technology, all the issues. I'm going to start by saying Eaton County responded to approximately 30,000 calls in 2024. That's 30,000 people seeking help, seeking protection, safety. I really want to truly speak about what it means. We're not talking about taking a call. We're talking about 30,000 individuals reaching out for something they need. That could be safety related, it could be crime related, it could be civil. They're calling us, they're expecting us to respond. So when I say 30,000 calls, what's that mean? I can tell you what it means. It equals 51% of all law enforcement calls in Eaton County. Eaton County Sheriff's deputies, someone in our uniform or in our sheriff's patch, showed up and answered that call. There's 7 other agencies besides us in this county. Eaton County took 51% of all law enforcement calls. I want to make sure that the public is knowledgeable about what this millage means, how serious and critical this time is, not just for our office, but Eaton County as a whole. There's not going to be an Eaton County road patrol if this millage fails. We're gone. I'm gone. We're all gone. No one. The document that was released in Ways and Means last week, it has great information. But does the public realize that everything that's listed under the Sheriff's Department, that's all of us? Looking at it and thinking, oh, okay, they're only eliminating 11 deputies from road patrol in the county. That's everyone. Oh, only 24 deputies from Delta. Maybe someone thinks there's 50. No, that's it. The document shows it. We're gone. The people typing reports, the people answering calls for the public, everybody's gone. I've been going door to door a lot on my off time for the union. And I've got a lot of questions. And I'm trying my best here to try to answer some of those questions for the public, for people that might see this. For anyone that has a question, I would love to answer it. It's hard. It's obviously we're in a dire situation, not just at the Sheriff's Office, but the county. But eliminating everything, there's no deputies. There's no one to take those 30,000 calls of someone seeking help, aid, assistance, safety, security. No one. 51% of calls are not going to be answered in the county now. That's what we're looking at. The millage doesn't pass. What happens? No road patrol. Delta Township and any other contract that the Sheriff's Office has, they're going to have to pay to find service elsewhere, and that cost is going to be significant. it is going to be significant. The entire county is going to be a casualty if we lose road patrol completely. Prosecutor is going to see cuts in their already short-staffed office. It's going to devastate our community's justice system and animal control, which is already barely scraping by. Could be eliminated. That would mean local police and cities will have to ask for more money to be able to provide animal control type services. They're not equipped for it. They're not trained for it. They don't have the staff. They don't want anything to do with it. They're terrified. Ask them. I'm not making things up. Ask them. It's not just the county. It is going to affect everyone in this county. And it's terrifying. But that's our reality. Here we are. Here we are. Some of the other things I get when I go door to door, I get a lot of questions about, what are the commissioners doing? What about this commissioner or that commissioner? What about the controller's office? And I tell them what they're doing. This is the second millage they have put on in a short time to try to right this ship. That's what they're doing. Were they here 25, 30 years ago when decisions were made that now they have to deal with? No. It's not fair to pin it on everybody that is now here trying to fix it. And I thank you for that. I thank you guys for realizing that we do need more. We need revenue. We really need a source. And that's what I've been telling people. You know, they have questions, of course. You know, the contract with Delta. Yeah, it's good business for the county and the township. But without the contract, Delta's going to need to somehow pay for their own police force or try to find a deal with another agency. Mind you, all the other agencies, or most of them that they would contract with, their employees make far more than the Eaton County Sheriff's Office. So for them to think that the price or the cost won't rise, it's foolish. It's going to cost the community a great deal, that community a great deal, whoever's seeking police services that they already have right now with us. Public safety is paramount in every community. I think I've said that probably 5 times now on the record. No matter who you are or where you live, you want to have a sense of security. And you want to know if you call, someone's going to be there to help you and put their safety on the line for you to feel more secure. When I'm out talking with people, they ask, where's the money? You got a ton of COVID money. Oh my gosh. We had so much COVID money from what I hear. It's unbelievable. Where did that money go? I can't answer that. Most of it was earmarked for infrastructure. I don't know. I'm a cop. I didn't sign up to come up here and speak and try to rally things and try to really explain things, because that's not my cup of tea. It's not what I do. I don't know where that money went. Come and ask questions. Come and ask questions. That's what I would like them to do. And my issue is, with people saying that door to door, people online, the online warriors, the county's audited by a third party every year. And that audit and budget is published and online and transparently available. You guys make that happen. It's there. There's monthly meetings where it's spoke about. Come ask questions. That's what I tell them. Come ask questions. But I can tell you what they're trying to do, and I feel like they're trying to do the right things. It's no secret that this county's been struggling financially for years, and here we are. We can talk about COVID money. We can talk about things that we spent money on. Does that really matter right now? Does it really matter? I'm confused how it happened. I get it. I feel the same way. I'm a resident. I get it. But here we are. And I also go on to tell them that even if this millage passes, more cuts are coming. They've said it. We have said it all along. Just because this millage passes does not mean that more cuts aren't coming. So I try to defend, and I try to show that, yes, they are trying to right this ship, and a millage is a big part of it. But cuts are still coming. There are things that they are doing, and I'm trying to highlight that work. I really am. And I understand cost of sword for groceries, gas, cost of living in general. I get it. It's everywhere. It affects us all across the board. But can we afford to lose public safety in this county? Can we afford to lose public safety? Can we as citizens in a community afford the costs associated with losing ECSO road patrol and the 51% of all calls we take in this county? Public safety is paramount in any successful, desirable community. Somewhere you want to call home, somewhere where you want your kids to go to school, somewhere where you want to thrive, where you want to live. Millage is on average, from what we hear, from what goes out, from the things that are online where we can plug in our address, it's about $12 a month on average. I get it. I get costs are high. I totally understand that. And I don't want to go pay more for groceries, but I also don't want to look over my shoulder when I'm leaving the grocery store to see who's going to take the rest of the money that I have. And that's what we're faced with. That is what we're faced with. We need safety and security in this county, without a doubt. And I applaud you guys for trying to get it for us. I really do. And I'm thankful for that. Finishing, I want to talk about our people, because that's where it all lies, with our people. We're down 6 road patrol members. Just 6. To me, that is amazing, given all of the facts, circumstances, and just how difficult it has been to be employed at our office and for this county over the past 1 to 2 years. We're only down 6. I would think that it'd be triple that. Why wouldn't it be? Our deputies can go make 10 to 20% more in the Tri-County area, and they're hiring. I'm the hiring captain at the sheriff's office. People are calling me and emailing me constantly, asking me if they can please meet with our deputies if this millage fails. They want them. They know what their training is. They know what their dedication level is, because they're still here. They are still here. We're really fortunate. I'm surprised more haven't left. I really am. And the reason is because we're dedicated to our mission and the safety and security and welfare of everyone in this county. We really are. So I hope the public knows exactly what they stand to lose. I get it. No one wants to pay more for taxes. People ask if they can afford it, but I ask them, can you afford not to? Can you afford not to have public safety in this county? The sheriff's door is always open, as he always says. He's willing to answer any type of questions. He's been going out in the community, news interviews, everything that we can do to try to educate the public. But I want to use this time to try to answer some questions that I'm getting when I go door to door on my off time. I hope the public sees it. I hope the public sees the need for it. This is the place I want to live. I want to retire from here. I want to raise my kids here. I came to Eaton County for a reason. And I want to stay in Eaton County for a reason. And that's because they support public safety and they support county government and they're good people. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Yeah, I share the frustration. The ones I talk to, they're just like, my mind's made up, don't confuse me with any facts. And I'm like, crazy. Was there any other public comments? See none? Looks like we're adjourned.